Because if you don't have energy, if you're broke, if your mind is not right, you have nothing else to give anybody else, and you're just being selfish. Like, you just need to just get after it and stay after it. And I know that we're all working from home now and the motivation can slip and you're not around other people. That's why I keep talking about like focusing on why you're actually doing all of this stuff. Yeah. Right. And making the why so big that the how becomes easy. And if you're not looking at that, you just get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
Right. And just get after it. But that's the big thing now that we're all like, you know, we're not able to have the meetings in person and we're all kind of isolated. And even for the guys that are usually lone wolves, like the Americans, right? Like your lives have definitely, I imagine, have changed dramatically as well, being in lockdown. And, you know, it's without a doubt a little bit harder to keep that fire burning. And that means that you just need to combat that with more time in focusing on why you're doing it all and what you still want to achieve, right? Like, and what you guys have done over the last 2-3 months is testament to you guys are still able to do everything that you wrote down as your goals at the start of the year. Because look what you guys are doing. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's really important to, you're right now being bombarded with more negativity and distractions than ever before, with like the COVID cases and this walking geopolitical issue and Trump and China and all this stuff that's going on. None of that stuff is going to help you. Yeah. So it's just like, just block all that stuff out. So at least when you come out of like this whole situation, you've read another 30, 40 books, audio books, you've still been tightening up your pitch, jamming, and you're bettering yourself while everyone else is just like, they're getting caught up in this chaotic whirlwind of shit, right? And they're not gonna, like, when this thing all blows over in 3 years, they're not gonna have anything to show from like watching CNN for an hour and a half a day. Right? So like, you guys are in a position where it's like, you know, Brock was in Colombia a few months ago. Now he's in America. You know, Blake's over in California. We've got guys all over the spot, all over the world. You guys are all here working from home and still able to do your thing. Right? And there's no question that like, it's definitely, it's more difficult to sell right now. Right? There's just no question about it. You just need to be more diligent. Doesn't mean we're not able to sell, because we are selling, but you just have to combat that even more. And the way that you combat that is 1, by conviction, and 2, just by activity and going out there and just getting it done. But everybody's getting hit with it. Everyone's having to make a lot more phone calls, right? Across all industries. But like, you can't, like, do not surrender to the market being shifted and then just thinking like, okay, we'll just have to ride this out. Just have to see how this thing goes, take a little bit of a loss right now, dip until the market shifts back, right? That's going into retreat mode, and that's you justifying all the other stuff that's going on from, you know, what we've been able to do over the last 3 months. When people are telling you, oh, it's really hard and this is happening and this is good, just look at what we're doing and what our clients are doing. They're getting their funnels live and still bringing in clients. But yeah, I just think that it's more important than ever right now to focus on you and get in contact and in touch with yourself. I was having a conversation even with Dave yesterday about this, is just like booking in some time with yourself to spend some time by yourself and focus on why you're doing it all, right? Because you're also all in isolation and you're around more people and you're probably not getting as much alone time. But that stuff's really important, right? Because like, you're the energy base, and if you don't look after you, you have no energy to give anybody or to help anybody. So even if you've got a partner or you're living with your family and you know, you always want to be around them, it's still very important for you to spend time alone and focus on you and where it is that you're trying to go and what you're trying to do, so you can give back to everybody else. Because if you don't have energy, if you're broke, if your mind is not right, you have nothing else to give anybody else, and you're just being selfish. So the thing that you might think is being selfish is actually selfless. Because if you're like, if you're not focusing on yourself because you're thinking like, oh, you want to spend as much time with this person, or, whatever it might be, you can always come up with excuses not to do it, right? To not book in time and spend some time. But you got to get real with your own self and why you're doing it. Like, why are you getting up, working at King Kong, trying to shoot for 3.5 hours of talk time a day? Like, what is that? What's it for? And then just making a commitment, because that relationship with yourself needs to be incredibly strong, right? It has to be binding. And that's a big key that not many people think about or not many people focus on. And when there's lots of noise, it becomes even harder to do that. Just to spend some time, go out with a notepad, go up into the hills, spend a few hours in just thinking about like what you've been doing for the last year, what do you want to do for the next year, what does your life look like in 5 years' time, who's in your life, who do you appreciate? Who do you want in your life? Who do you want to cut out? But just spending a bit of time, right? Because otherwise, if you don't, you just get caught up in the day-to-day. It's very, very easy to do that stuff. But yeah, there's nothing more important than focusing on yourself and getting yourself into a position where you've got you've got lots of conviction, you've got lots of certainty, you're really proud of the person that you're trying to become, right? And that just spills off into all areas of your life. But you gotta get all that stuff right. It's not just the work. It's not just tuning up the pitch or listening to audiobooks and stuff. It's the whole picture. And like your work is a very important thing, because if you do it for 8 hours a day, it's a really important tool to forge the person that you want to be. Right? But like whether it's like, we talk about athletes or bodybuilders and stuff like that, it's like the person that they need to become to reach the pinnacle of their game is so much more than just like being a physical athlete. I think about it all the time, but I have a hard and fast date booked in with myself at the end of every quarter. And that's usually when I I go away for a week at the end of every quarter, and I reflect on it all and I look at it and I write it all down, because otherwise the year just flies by. Like, we're already halfway through the year. Right, July is in a couple of days. So yeah, all do that, because that kind of stuff is the fuel. You can't run around with no fuel and just pretend like you're going to keep making calls and you're going to keep getting after it. Everyone has a funk, everyone goes through a fog, everyone has a down month, all of those kind of things are all normal. And that's fine. It's fine to have a down month as long as you look at why that happened and you come to grips with it. And then you just go after it and you make it happen. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you click the like button and subscribe. We're dropping a video on YouTube every other day. And if you've got any questions about any of the content that I covered in this video, just basically leave a comment with hashtag heysabri in the comments section. And every week we're also trying to go through all those questions and get them answered. So go ahead, click subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.